The year is 2018, and you are about to explore multicolor 3D printing thanks to the Prusa MK2S MMU1. In 2018, this thing was a beast, and it was how you got up to 4 colors in a 3D print. It utilized a tray in the back that held up to 4 filaments, and then from this interface up front, you could feed all 4 into this extruder, and then it would create up to 4 color models over time. Printers like this, especially back in the day, weren't necessarily regarded as fast. Yes, the MK2S was a great machine, and this is actually still the one I had back then, and I even have the models from it too. Back in 2018, there was a video out where I talked about a certain model not breaking my 3D printer. It was actually Maker's Muse, Angus down there in the land down under. And he had created a very specific model called the torture egg. And it was originally themed around Easter, go figure, but a torture model for your 3D printer is good any time of the year, and I still have 2 of the ones that I made. The torture egg model from Angus, Maker's Muse, is a really cool way to verify the capabilities of your 3D printer. Yeah, it was made back in 2018, but I mean, check this out. There are 3 interlocking pieces that build up and then culminate into a part where the inner pieces are all fully enclosed with the outer pieces. And this one was made on that MK2S MMU1 3D printer, and it was printed at 200% scale. This one, slightly larger, was made on a Mark III back in the day. But it's 2026 now, and there have been leaps and bounds in 3D printing in the last 8+ years. So why don't we see if the MK2S MMU1 can still compete with the likes of newer Prusa and Bambu machines? This testing is in 3D Printing Nerd Studios, proudly powered by PCBWay. PCB, CNC, and 3D printing, it's all at PCBWay.com. For this test, for the 200% scale single color model, what I'm gonna do is throw it on the Bambu H2S and on the CORE One behind me. These are both latest generation 3D printers, and I think great machines to try that single color 200% scale model at. For the multicolor though, I'm going a slightly different route. I'm going to attempt a 3-color 100% scale version on this, the Bambu H2C. I like using this one because the Vortex nozzle changing system is really latest generation, while the original MK2S MMU1 fed single filaments through a single nozzle. This one gives an individual nozzle per filament. And then I got this. This one still works. The MK2S MMU1 is still functional. Yes, it had years of grime and dirt that I had to clean off. So to get it to this point, multiple sprayings of isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel to wipe off anything that was on the bed. It had a lot of this sticky substance.
Ew.
And I don't know where it came from, but we were able to get it off the machine. Plus, I wiped down the smooth rods and I used the oil stick from Slant 3D. Gabe, thanks for bringing that over. And then in the back, you got to see this. The filament rolls, they slide on smooth surfaces, so I use some tape to hold it in, and that means this battle station is fully functional. So a 100% scale version of that egg in 3-color is gonna be made on this. Oh, but I'm sure you have this question. Let me answer it. But Joel, what about the Prusa Mark IV with the MMU3? That's a valid question. I didn't include it in the test because I'm currently having some issues with it. I attempted a firmware update and it keeps telling me to restart the 3D printer. I would like to do this, but it's going to require a little bit more troubleshooting. And so what about the XL, right? All of my Prusa XLs are busy on a farm job. It's really interesting because Prusa just announced the XL Plus along with the Plus version of the CORE One L and the Plus Gen 2 of the CORE One. And so in thinking that, I would like to run this test on those machines as well. I'll ask Prusa if I can get my hands on it. But right now these XLs are busy. We'll see if we can't get the XL Plus in to try it. All right, let's do some printing. first, let's take a look at the one we did on the Mark II-S MMU1. Here's the purge block, and here's the model. So back then, 2018, there was no removable build plate. So you had to get a razor blade or something to help get the model off the build plate. This purge block is solid, and it's what you needed to do to ensure that the 3D print looked proper, because you had so much color. You had to get the old color out and get the new color in. But here's the model. Getting it off the build plate was really difficult, and I can't get it to spin. So when I was getting it off the build plate, I did break it on accident. I think the old one at 200, oh, I just broke it again.
Stop breaking everything!
The old one at 200% scale gives us more clearance between the pieces, and if that was of interest, I might try to run that again. Oh, no, I'm just breaking it. I'm just breaking it, trying to separate it. What are you gonna do? Well, we tried. It took 16 hours to do this. That was a long time. All right, well, it looks okay, but I don't know. Let's see if newer machines can do better. This one at 200% scale was on the Core One, and it spins. It does spin. I was able to get this off the build plate pretty easily. The material looks good. The sidewalls are fantastic. I mean, it did a really good job there. The overhangs can prove to be a little bit difficult. And again, this is at 200% scale, so it does mean that those overhangs are gonna be a little tough. I think that the cooling on the Core One, though, does help make sure that this overhang can be good. There is a little bit of a layer issue here, but I think for the most part, it did a decent job. Again, this is a stress model, and it does spin, so I'm gonna consider it a success. So this one was on the Bambu H2S, and it also spins. It was a little stuck at first, but I was able to get it free. It looks to be the layering was pretty fantastic. You can see because of the sheen on this material that you can see where there might be some inconsistencies. You can see that there's a lot of wisps in here. Now that's not the fault of the machine, that's gonna be the material. And of course, you solve that with fire. And there you go. The H2S did a great job. This is single color, but it's a 2-color material, so I'm gonna consider this a success. And now the one from the H2C. Check that out. Now, it's not perfect. You can see that there's some inconsistencies right there and a little bit right there, just kind of at the top. But look, it spins. I can spin the blue, I can spin the gray, and I mean, the outer part just spins in your hand, right? But look at that. At 100% scale, it works. And I think it looks pretty good. And here's the purge block. And this is significantly lighter than this purge block. It is really cool to look back 8 years ago and just to see how far we've come. And it's also really cool to see that stress test models designed 8 years ago still put machines to the test. I would love to try this model on the XL Plus. I will get the Mark IV MMU3 working so I can try that again. And then maybe I'll throw it on some other machines as they come into the shop, because it's really fun. It's an interesting model. The reason I don't have all of them from before is because I gave them away.
I'm a nice guy.
If there are other prints from back in the day you'd like to see me give a go on latest generation hardware, let me know. I'd love to give it a shot. Otherwise, this has been a fun look back, and thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more, fight for a cause you believe in, print all the old things, and as always, high five.